So Dean, we're talking about the Ascension Maps and so on, and we want to get your perspective, your take on these Ascension Maps, and kind of like, what does this map mean, and what do the maps mean as a whole? And, you know, other than like, how can someone get the map, but when someone's looking at this map, what is this map telling someone?
It says a lot, and it not only helps with the Ascension. I'm just kind of using it because it is the Ascension map, but I'm using it in conjunction with the QHHT sessions that I've been doing, because I noticed that when these Ascension maps started coming through and the information started coming through the clients, and these codes were being applied to the client, other types of healing started to happen as well, and certain things would go away. And it's not a blissful thing where it's just instant happiness and everything's great. They had to go through certain things. They'd process things. And at first I was a little leery. I was kind of nervous about what was going on. I wasn't, you know, I left it wide open. I had no agenda. I try not to influence it in any way. I just wanted to have this information and just let it go naturally to see what happened. But as the clients would go through these processing periods after the session, and it was easier to see on the milder ones when I would apply these maps to clients who were just dealing with milder issues, nothing physical, but just milder blocks, problems with people, themselves, work, whatever. And then all of a sudden those issues started correcting themselves. And I thought, wow, okay. So it's kind of like a purging. And what's going on is these codes, in conjunction with the session, were allowing these clients to start releasing some problems that they had in the way they felt. And just by default, they kept creating these issues. And once those feelings were, I would say, integrated or transmuted into something else, then they quit creating them. So things went on, and we monitored more and more. And then I realized, as we asked more questions and more time went on, that these were indeed Ascension maps. And I had it verified by a lot of different people about what these codes meant. Why are things laid out on this piece of paper the way they are? And how does this person get to the point where they intuitively know how to convert the information that they get coming to them through the universe in the form of a light language, and how they establish what's going to be what in the picture of the painting. I mean, when we sit down in 3D and you figure out a picture, I mean, it's a logical thing. You can say, okay, I need to do this, I'll have this one here. That doesn't happen with these light language artists. They don't think about this. They just sit down, they get ready to go, and all of a sudden this idea comes to them, and in their mind, they see this image, and they just do it. They have a voice in their own head. You know, it's their own voice, but it's coming through and say, nope, use this color. Nope, it's got to be darker. Nope, use this one. And then they go, okay, that's enough for right now. And then all of a sudden, they'll have this intuitive thought to go ahead and switch, and they'll start doing something. Then they start putting codes in. And it's kind of brilliant the way that the mind works in the subconscious and how this all goes together, because there's going to be times where they just go ahead and do the code. They'll start the code, and they don't know what it's for or what's going on. It doesn't even feel right, to the point that they question themselves. You know, why am I doing this? You know, or am I doing something wrong, or it just doesn't feel right, or what? But they just keep doing it, and then eventually they just come along and they just put one line around something, and all of a sudden, there it is, the picture, and they're like, wow. So they really never know either. And to keep this uninfluenced, they're brought through these artists in a way where they don't know what's going on. I think after a while, when they start to do enough of them, they get this internal feeling, different feelings of what the map is. So when you look at the map and it's got a picture, the whole thing is to basically express a feeling. This is really taking it back to a picture says 1,000 words. And this whole thing is everything all in one of what's going on in a person. And it encumbers their whole life up to where they are now, their past, their present, and then it will also go ahead and include the rest of their future in it. So when they look at this all at once, it's everything going on just like it would be in 5D. Then we learned that at first they started coming through, they were just black and white. They were really hard to read, a lot of scribbles. They didn't make sense. And even this map that you're showing right now, JJ, this would be very difficult to understand if it was black and white, if it was just a pencil on a regular piece of paper.
Yeah, I agree.
And, yeah. And so then I said, okay. So as these maps started to come through like this, I started to set my intention and said, okay, guys, this is what I need. I said, if these are going to be the Ascension maps, I need the codes for the healing. I need directions for how to read this map. And then they did that. And they started coming through. The codes changed. Then they had them from different realms. And then we got all the information about that and what that information meant and what those codes were trying to convey. Then I said, I need them color coded. So we started color coding them. And then all of a sudden they were just random. And then I'm like, okay, the heart chakra is green, but we have it blue. The third eye is light blue, but we have it pink. And the root is supposed to be red, and it's yellow. No, we can't be doing that. So I need these colors in the map to represent the colors that are currently in the chakra symbols, the universal colors that everybody knows of. So that's what they did. So then all of a sudden, all the colors had switched, and they started coming through to be each color on here represented what was going on in that particular frequency for the client. And it's not necessarily what was going on in that. This is a code map of what they see happening or what they want to be expressed in the client. So when you're looking at the trees on this map, you got the 2 trees there. Look at the leaves on the far right one. Look at the patterns, the waves that the needles come down. On the one side, there's 3. On the other side, there's 5. Same with the other tree. Now, the other tree's got a tree inside of that one, but yet both trees, they're not green. They should be. They're orange. Why? They're orange and they're planted on an orange ground. Tree is light language symbolism for strength. So this means strength. So the strength in this person is going to be in their sacral. There's no yellow. There's a code down there for it, but it's blended with the sacral. You're going to use the sacral because it's touching that to influence their solar plex. So, which is going to help give them some belief about why they're here in this present lifetime, not just about who they think they are, how they feel about themselves. So this person's got a strong belief about who they are. They know who they are. They are lost when it comes to understanding why they're here. The higher self, the third eye, is the spaceship. It's light blue. He believes that he's being communicated with by another source, and he believes it could be ET. When I look down on here, it is. That would tell me, yes, he is really being communicated with by ET. He's got the balance over here on the right of it, and it'll show you the destination there for that. And because he believes that it creates balance in his in what he speaks. That is the chakra for the voice chakra that goes right above the spaceship there. So when you look at that, he really is speaking about it. He believes it, and I believe it would be true as well that he's being monitored by some source of ET or ED out there, other than himself. Down here at the bottom, you'll see where there's 2 down there, and those are him coming down. And you'll see that one is down there that he's being communicated with. He's got 2 of them that come down with him. And then on the third one, he's got on the line going up where there's a return. He's going to be going back after this life. When he goes to the other side of the veil, he's going back to his group. He's going to reorganize another plan. Chances are this guy is already set himself up for ascension. Or just by coming back here as a volunteer will qualify him to do that. But look at, but up at the top there, the middle symbol, and on top, you can see where there's 6. Those are, he's being guided by his angels. You can see that right away. The top symbol is to become into being. And then that is also connected with his, he's got to deal with his body and his health. And that's what that other chakra is. That other symbol there, that's for his human body. That's the health chakra right there. And that is directly connected to his the other symbol on top, which is to come into being. And that's almost symbolic of the wings. As you cross over, you go to the other side when you ascend. You'll see this a lot for people who that do ascend. It's part of the what's that bird? What's the bird called? The phoenix.
The phoenix. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is real symbolic to the phoenix, and that's why it soars, and it has the codes on top. Those are the codes. When you see the codes on top, the phoenix there, or his coming into being symbol, that is directions for him. That is a direct code for him, and basically how to read this map for him. And it's all been set up. It's on top by the angels that are guiding him. And you'll see that in there when they all go up there and they cross around. That's going to take him from 3rd dimension to 5th dimension. So now all these maps have a beginning point to them. And if you look down on the bottom where the green is, this is what flows through his heart. And you can see right away that his heart is in 5D. It's why he came here. Yep. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. Okay. That means that he is, in order to ascend to another level, there's something in the middle of that before just a graduation. And you have to go through 5 major parts to this ascension. And they all deal with your belief in spirituality, your belief in yourself, your intellect, and your belief in your purpose, and your belief in your did I say spirituality yet? So I think, and that's the last one, I believe. So there's those 5 beliefs that you have about yourself that you actually have to accomplish and get to a certain level on, and they all have to be there at the same time. If they're not, the other 4 will wait until that one gets there. Those are the ones that really create a lot of grief in people, because they've gotten to a certain level of understanding about who they are, what they're doing here, their spirituality, their sexuality, how much they've learned in this life, and how they compare to other people, and their belief about other people, their belief about themselves. All of these are a part of that. And when one of them is lagging and the other 4 or 3 have hit the end, they feel like they're waiting for something. And if that something doesn't come, they become confused. They can't figure out why. And they're trying to get the messages, and they're just not understanding what they're supposed to be doing. So they keep restarting over and restarting over and restarting over, or they just disappear. They want to avoid it, or and as the longer this goes on, the more pain it causes inside of them, and then that's when they'll turn to drugs or alcohol to get rid of the pain, to disappear and hide. Even a lot of that will come in here, and you'll see boxes with just squares. And in here, he's got 1 box in his, but it's got an X in it, and that means help. So what has happened is down at the bottom right of this, right above the green, you see that first triangle? Okay, over to the right, up, okay, right there, yes, to the right a little bit, JJ. Okay, the light, yes, that's the triangle. That's where this map starts, and it flows right on up. And right now, he's got 2 things he needs to be working on, and that is the angelic symbol for number 2, and it's also about connecting. And then so right up above, straight above that, is the box with the X in it. That is he's asking for help. And when he did that, he's got 4 bystanders that are waiting for him right now, and he's got 4 that have graduated, and those they've all been looked at. So he's got the 4 triangles going up to the right, and then above that you see the 4 lines that look like little candles. Right above that, those are dots. Those have all been looked at, and they're saying, okay, we recognize these, but he's got 1 left, and which is on the other side, and he needs that. So it runs over to the side, and you'll see where the A is. Now he's got, in order to ascend, he needs that, and A is also the beginning step for this one. So it's still at the beginning, and it shows that in order for him to flow up, and in order for him to increase, he needs to work on the mind, the body, and the soul. So specifically the body, that's indicative of why he's got all the sacral and no solar plex in there. It's not about, it's about how he feels about himself, and what his purpose is here, and what he's done around him. So once he starts believing that and becoming that, he's really going to accelerate in whatever he's doing. So he's been talking about something, or telling people something, and he's not practicing what he preaches. That's what that would tell me, that he's very tapped in. He knows what's going on. In order for him to be communicated that close and be watched that close by those ETs, he's in some type of field or profession where he is working with people, and he tells them stuff, and he's dealing with this information, but he's not believing in himself. If he was, he would be way up there. But there's something there, there's some fear of something that is keeping him held back. So these codes right here, right up there, once you get to that code, and it goes right up to the word, you see how inside of that circle there, yes, where all the lines are coming around those circles, that, you see the lines, how they go counterclockwise? That's about rebirth. He needs a reset. If it was going clockwise, it'd be something that he's dealing with spiritually. But it's going counterclockwise, so he needs a rebirth in something, and that's the purification of one of these energy ports, and that is what's going to propel him to the next level. That's what's going to take him to be actually the person that he really thinks he can be in this life, and who he wants to be in this life, but is afraid to for some reason. That will get him to that point. And when you get right up above that, where it goes up to the purple line now, that'll show the path that he's taken into this, and it extends up, and it'll show that the divine's watching. But first, in order for him to get there, he must pass through this grid, and that is a maze. And if you were to zoom in there a little closer, I think you would see how there's an opening in there. He's got to go through the maze first. Then he'll be helped through the grid. Yes. Okay. So it goes in and out and in and out. He'll be helped through the grid. And on the far side, he's already at 4th dimension, and he's got to pass through the 4th dimension. It's going to come in that moon there, because of the way it's facing, that is a phase. So he's going to pass through 2 phases, and when he sees himself, that's going to lift him. When he sees actually who he is, it's going to bring him up into that, and then he'll see on the other side there, he's got another moon to go. He's being guided by the divine. There's a code down there that we don't know what that is yet, but he's being held up, and there's the code there that's going to help him, and it's going to overshadow him and protect him. Now he's got 2 lead helpers, which I would expect to be his angel and his guide, his representatives that are actually here, not just from his collective, but his soul group. So they're going to help him work on his health and his mind, and there's going to be 2 of them from the 6th dimension, which are his angels. So that was right, and then that will lead him to Ascension, which is that's his 5. So when I look at this, back that up, you can see all the colors in here. There's no yellow. There's very little green. You can see by how much green that's being expressed in here. There's 2 types of green also. There's a darker green and there's a lighter green. The darker green is his voice. The lighter green is his higher voice. And that's the one coming through his third eye. And that's what that's code for that is what is really important for him, because that's the one that's going to help fix that up and reset that and get rid of any distorted frequencies he's got. And here's where this is so advantageous as versus just doing a session. I can use this map to give this person a session. And then after the session, I can take the audio from that session and I can submit it to Charmel. She can listen to it and she can create a new map. And on that new map will tell me exactly where he is in this and was it successful. Just based on his frequencies, they change that quick. As soon as he sees his frequencies are automatically adjusted. So I'll know right at the end of the session exactly how far he advanced. I could literally give someone 3 sessions in 2 days with, or 2 sessions with 3 maps in 2 days and take them from a drunk in a ditch that has never done that in his life to Ascension ready.
Wow.
And it's a very important thing because there's a lot of things that are happening to people in this life that aren't from this life. And that's the disturbing and the confusing part about all that. A lot of these frequencies that we have running in our field have come over from they've been attached. They come from other lives, other experiences that we've lived. And when they follow us into this life, they're there for us to see what's going on so we can correct them. Now, if you were fortunate enough to find the cause of the problem and deal with it, that in itself is a way of correcting that energy port. All right. So that's one way to do it. Now, if you can't do it that way, that's all they want you to do is they do it. It doesn't matter how you do it. So if you can either do it that way or you can get the codes that will do that. And if the codes will do that, it's the same thing because it's something that happened in a different life. It doesn't apply to what you're doing now. Everybody that is going through this right now has lived these experiences already. They've been through them. They understand what they are. They just don't know how to fix that frequency, that energy.
So,
going on.
Dean, can you touch on how it benefits everyone to look at the maps?
Yeah, these codes at first, I was too leading when I asked the question. I said, is this map specifically for this client? And they said, yes. And I said, oh, okay, so will it work on anybody else? And they said, no. And I said, well, okay, that's fine. So, but will it hurt anybody else by seeing it? And they said, no. Well, what I wasn't being specific enough about was, let's say you got 100 people. Out of those 100 people, if 5 of those people have distorted frequencies or the same issues that are real relative to, you can almost group these up, just like radio stations, you can group up. And if 5 of those 100 people have any issues that this very person here did, and this person that had this session got these codes to clean up his frequencies, those other 5 people, if they've seen this map, they look at the whole geometry of the map, and then they look at the codes in the map, their frequencies will also get cleaned up. So it's important to display these in an area where, and in a way where everybody can see them so they can all get the healing benefit from what this one map has to offer that one client. Now, if there's go ahead.
And you guys have a spot for people to find the maps, right?
Yeah, so far we're putting them on, I'm posting them on my Facebook right now to get them out there as quick as I can to allow these people to start seeing the codes. But we are putting them on Live in 5D also, liveinfived.com. So that's a website that is, it's a fairly new website, but it's going to be pretty much everything about living in the way that everyone wants to live. The things that we've all been working for, the way that we say that we want life here on Earth to be. It's about living in 5D, and it's completely unconditional. There's no control. This is an open portal where people are allowed to come in, and I think if it has relevance to what's going to happen, what could happen in Live in 5D, then we're going to post it for them.
And there's the website right there, live in 5D.
Yep.
Yeah, and
there's my map, actually.
okay, yeah.
That's my personal map, which
And it's
he
also-
hasn't told.
It's gonna try.
The first one's your personal map?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mine.
Oh, okay.
So before we go into more maps, let's introduce Charmel. So who wants the pleasure of introducing Charmel to the group?
I'd love it. Charmel, she is here. How do you pronounce your last name? Is it Herinckx?
Herinckx.
Okay, I was pretty close then, but yeah, I want everyone to know who Charmel. She's an amazing, talented artist, and these maps just started flowing for her. I got a phone call from Tracie one day and said, "Hey, I got this lady who's doing these maps," and it was just I couldn't believe it. And then more,
it was synchronicity at its finest. Let me tell you.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. So
Absolutely.
yeah, Charmel has been so great and generous to allow us to post these on the website and make them available for the public to see them and get any potential healing that they can from these codes. And I'll tell you what, when you got yourself a batch of 40 maps to look at and you go through and look at those, I hope you don't have nothing planned for a couple of days, because you're going to be wiped out. You're going to be purging and crying and mad and throwing fits.
Oh, you're explaining my weekend.
Ours too. You're doing the maps. You've been purging.
All this garbage inside of you that you just being stripped from you that you never knew was there. And other people could feel it, but you didn't know it was there. And it's just going to be getting pulled from you. You just released, gone, integrated, whatever. I don't know what happens to it, but it's gone. But you have to go through that emotion to make it happen. But I'll tell you what, the moment you come out of that, it's just like, wow. It's like every time you do that, this world changes and everything changes just a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And you feel amazing. And I'm honestly believing that this is the purification process that people need to go through to get to the happiness that they're looking for, because that's all this is about. I've asked 1,000 people, why do you do what you do? Well, they think it's going to bring them happiness. The money they want will make them happy. The relationship will make them happy. The freedom will make them happy. Everything that everybody is doing on this planet is to make them happy. This way, this map right here is creating that, because I get up into the same life that I've been living, and I'll tell you what, just in the last 2 months, I've been my happiest and my saddest.
Yeah. I understand that, Dean. It's like, I have like this going on over here and it's crazy, but then all of this amazing stuff over here to counterbalance it. And that's been going on since August, since the Ascension stuff started happening. So for me, that's when it started happening. So I understand.
I think for a lot of people, yeah, I've heard more about this in the last 8 weeks than I have my whole life. So there must be something to it. Something's going on there, and I don't know if this is the next thing. But I use them in my QHHT sessions, and I think they're just amazing. I've had such good sessions with them that I'm going to start actually putting them the videos. We're working on some right now, so I'm going to start posting the videos as well and get those out there.
Trying to shut the phone off. Sorry.
That's fine, Charmel. You should have seen my last shoot.
What the heck? And it's probably junk mail.
Right?
Solicitor.
So sessions are so amazing that the way they flow, when I use these codes on the people before the sessions, they're just picture perfect. I wish that some of the QHHT facilitators get the chance to see some of these and see what's going on with that, because it's pretty amazing how they've switched and changed from when I first started doing the sessions. But the people are getting, they're actually.
Hey, I want him to tell us what that little fish one is. Go back to, it looks like a fish or something in there.
Can I interject this? This is actually the one with the trees. This is his third one.
Oh, okay.
Same person, third map.
I'm pretty sure that's the same one, yes.
Okay.
Grab
This
them.
one here, it is a fish, and if you notice in there, there's no land, which means this person's not rooted. You can't be rooted if you don't have no land.
His song is "I Have No Roots." That's his favorite song.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
that is his third map. The second one is really scary looking, but
Okay, so
But there's a story with that second one though, because this same person is the one that I got to practice an Ascension session on, and everything that we did in the session showed up in that map.
Wow.
That second
is that
map.
right?
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
It was crazy. And then she did the third one.
Do we
that's
have
the
the,
third one.
do we have the
Yeah.
second one?
The second one. Let's see if
I haven't seen it.
Here's
I'll
the
recognize it.
second one right here.
No, I don't think I have that one. Let me see if it's on the.
I don't think you do.
Uh.
I think I sent it. I don't think.
No, that one has a person.
Actually, this has it. It has an ET in it.
Oh, okay, an ET.
Watching him. Yes.
Okay, yep. That one, when I look at that one, that's sacred geometry. The person's not too far up, but they really got to connect and ground, and that's what this says, is that when you look at there in the middle where the pyramid going up, that is the start of it, and it's to connect three-dimensional to his ascension, and then it'll flow out, and then what you have is he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 broken dots there. Those are all his chakras. Okay, so and that's what it's saying. Look at the first one and the last one are black. There's no connection. Okay, We've got that, which means he's not rooted into ground, and he's not rooted in the spirit as well. So, on the top of that, you'll have the harmonic, and it's showing that there is a symbol that it's also going to come in phases. But you see on top there's waves, and there's three blue lines in each one, but there's 4 groups. So those are the waves, and those are the harmonics for this person's, the mind, the body, and the soul, and that they need to be balanced within the earth, wind, and fire, and water. That's what they mean by balance. So that's why there's 4 sections of waves. So his mind, body, and soul needs to be balanced in earth, wind, fire, and water, and that's everything that has got to be going on here. And not doing that. He's not in the wind, and he's not in the earth. So the wind is spirit. So, and earth is ground. So he's got the fire and the water, but not the other 2. So it's showing you down here, the problem is where the separation is. Look at the 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the 5 that he's got. He's all mixed up between his belief in himself, his intellect, his sexual aspect of himself and others or relationships, his spiritual self. All 5 aspects of his belief system are separate, and it shows on the top where mainly his solar is. And when you read those codes, that one splits off into 2, and it pairs into the white, which is the crown, which is nothing. It's not touching nothing, but on the bottom of the fish, it's green, which means that his heart is at the base of this. So his heart is holding up his belief about himself, but there's absolutely, his belief about his purpose here, but there's absolutely no appreciation for this person's self. They give their power away. It's about somebody else first. And down at the bottom, that's the heart, and that's the code. That needs to do that. And you see right above that where that's like looks like a cloud. It's really not. This person's got one person's keeping an eye on this person. They're watching pretty close. And that is ahead of somebody. And if you zoom in a little closer, you'll see that he's got one eye open. So those are eyes. So that's a person's head. And that's his neck with the collar at the front. And then on the front, everything is very specific. You see on the right, on that left side there, you got the 3 dots, and that's, this person here needs to deal, it's choking him, and his mind and body, and his belief in his mind, his body, and soul are choking this person out. They're confused. So it's just saying that this person needs to just simplify, balance your life out, and this is a simple geometrical code. It's a biosignature type that will actually help him. So the picture itself, the way the structure of the fish is, the waves, the dots, and down at the bottom, that is voice chakra. So what he speaks is heart. So all of that in there, because there's no blue as well. So this person, this map right there, when they see that map, that would really help that person a lot. And when you look up on top where the blue dot in the middle, you'll have 5 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. But they have to connect those two. The heart is the connection between everything above to everything below. They're using the heart down here is carrying everything, and the heart is what's going to end up connecting all that together. So that this is a pretty strong code that is going to basically open up the heart chakra and allow that the frequencies to start flowing through it and going through the other energy ports properly. So that's kind of what that would tell me. So when I would definitely, when I give this person a session, I'd give them those codes first, and then I would look for things that were how this person believed about themselves in this life, how they liked themselves, and how they treated themselves, or they let other people treat themselves, because they're just a reflection of how they're treating themselves. So the way other people are treating them are also the way that they're treating them. So it's a good indicator. And about what their purpose is. So that's pretty simple. And I'm sure this person was just confused about something going on from a different life versus what he was doing in this person was doing in this life. And that's simple. That was it. I can't imagine there'd be any physical symptoms based on this, because it's got sacred geometry to it. You'll see those where some other ones are actually biogeometrical symbols that come from the body. Whether it'll tell me whether this person's got lung issues or stomach issues or a heart issue, brain issues or limb issues. These maps will tell you that.
So I'm going to jump over to Charmel real quick and ask Charmel, how does it, tell us about drawing one of these. What happens? Because I know when you drew mine, I had the experience of being in the room with her when she was doing it, but I wasn't watching what she was doing. And my crown chakra was just lighting up. And I was like, what are you doing over there? And yeah, I don't know. Let me, so this one is mine, and you can see all the spirals with it. Well, when you look at that, you said it's like looking at me from the top, looking down. So that's why I was feeling all that happening. And so I'm just curious, what is your experience, Charmel, when you're drawing these? Tell us about that.
It's so funny because I had no idea even what they were. You know, you were over here and said, "Hey, would you draw me one?" And this is sort of what they look like. And so I had all the pins on the table like I always do, and just started drawing. And I don't know what anything means, or it was like I just kept seeing things in my head and I just put it on the paper. And I started out with Sharpies, and then I just got this message that I needed to go to watercolor. So I'm doing watercolor. I've added that too, and some of the latest ones I'm actually added some glitter to it. So, but I just Dean will send me an audio, or Tracie sent me an audio too, and I'll just listen to it. And as I'm listening to it, I'm just letting it go out. Whatever I see goes out through my hand onto the paper. And then I'll go, am I done? And sometimes I'll hear a voice say no, or or pick up this color, and and I still, you know, I'm like, I can't believe this, because it's like, wow, I don't even know what I'm doing. but
you do.
But I do. But I'm doing it. It's like I can't stop myself. So, you know, I did one for this last one I did for, there's an art show coming up. And I had asked a friend, you know, what should I do for the show? And I think I want to do an Ascension map. And he says, I think you should do one for, because it's a women's in art show. And I think you should do one for the women of the planet of Earth. And so I just did that. And that was.
And Dean posted that one. Yeah. Dean posted that one, I believe, on the Facebook. And it was one of the ones that I pulled up, not knowing what it was. I just pulled it up and just let it sit on my screen for a while, and I would just look at it, and then I would do the work I need to do, and then I'd come back and look at it. I love that one. Yeah. So
yeah, he gave a reading for it. Yeah, it was amazing. So
do we have that one, Jason?
Is that the one with a bunch of spirals with numbers?
This one here.
Oh, yes, I think that's. Is that it?
No.
I haven't seen it on any of the ones that you've.
I don't think it's on the 5D yet.
No, I do have the one now with the alien. I do have that one.
Oh, you found that one? Oh, yeah, that's the middle one for our.
The second map.
Yeah, the second map for.
But I do have a question for you. So you see, like, for example, this image right here, it came to you all at once for this image?
No, it comes to me piece by piece. It's like, I just like, this one here, I thought I needed to put that line up there, and I don't know why. And then I feel like I get my watercolors out, I get them all wet and ready, and pick up a brush and just go, what color do I choose? And I'm kind of a little prejudiced because I really like the dual tones. So I tend to lean towards those, but if I'm called to do a yellow or an orange, I'll do it. But most of the time I'm, but I don't know. And then I last night I started actually trying one on acrylic, so I happen to have a canvas. So that's this one here.
Oh wow!
But that's kind of I got tired and went to sleep, so I haven't got any light writing in there yet. I've just started because I can't do that over when it's wet. So we'll see what happens. And that was just something, I wasn't thinking about anybody in particular. I just started playing around. So I don't know what it means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see the symbolism changing in that, and that's why it's, these are going to continue to evolve. And you're right on track for the way that the other ones had evolved as well. So I would say that you're only about maybe 2 months out from where the front line of this is. So it won't be very long before you're there and you're starting to create those, and they're gonna change over. They're gonna keep evolving, and you'll see how this is gonna really start to lock in and put itself together in a geometrical picture, where people are gonna look at it and just see the picture, but not realize that looking at this picture, they're going to get major healing from it. Mm-hmm. So they're going to get more and more powerful as you get more attuned to the conversions of the frequencies that are coming through you. Mm-hmm. So these are based on your ability to convert the frequencies right now. And apparently you've been through training for these. You knew this before you even incarnated into this life. And they're just refreshing your memory. And that's, to see something this early at these early stages being produced from yourself is amazing, because I know what map 60 is going to look like. And I'm waiting for the good ones to come around before I get
I'm map 17 in, I think now.
Yeah, it's amazing. So one of the things I would really like to do is when we get these to 50 is I want to naturally collaborate with
There it is.
Charmel. I've talked to her a little bit. I've also talked to JJ, but I like to be able to put these in a booklet, because if these booklets are made available, someone could actually get the booklet and go through here and look at, and they'll not only have the art, they'll have the picture, but they'll be able to get the healing from every single one of these pictures. And I think that keep it affordable for everybody would be able, if we did the booklets or pamphlets of 50 maps per book, that would be a good amount. You know, we don't want to kill anybody with the first book.
I got your book and I cried for a month. Okay, so what can you tell us about this one? This one was, how did you say that, Charmel? This was for for the women of the planet Earth.
Okay, so what did you see in this one, Dean?
This one here is all about transformation. And it also brings in the earth, wind, and fire. And that's the reason for the plants, but the blossom and the new growth. And you'll see on the female symbols behind that, and that is rooted in. And the blue is the voice which are speaking. That is actually what is creating the energy in the atmosphere right now. It's what's being heard in the waves is the female and their strength in that. So as they pass through this, that the first ladder, there's transform. And what they're doing is they're transforming. You can see over here that you got the 4. This is the women. These are all, the female is over here on the side of that, but it says many female are finding the equality to rise above. And through the moon and the stars, through the mind, the body, and the spirit, they've asked for help. The divine has given them the strength to transform and connect to the mind, the body, the soul, earth, wind, and fire as they express and transform through themselves. And so that's kind of, when I read those that go around there, this is a map that is for everybody. And I didn't know that at first. I wasn't sure who the group was. So I'm like, well, why is this map for everybody? You know, what did it mean? But this is a transformation map. It's about purifying the energy ports, and through that purification process, that's the transformation is created through rebirth.
And so he gave me the name for the art show, which is Transformation Through Purification.
Purification.
Nice.
And that's exactly what this is.
Yeah.
When you
So,
see that.
yeah.
Yep.
So it'll be at the women's show, and hopefully I have all the women that see it. And I don't know.
Because when you look down here, your grounding in your root is red typically. And whenever you see the brown, that's a direct intervention from source.
Mm.
Other things going on there, and that's way up there. That's powerful up there. And when that is happening, you root yourself in ground. You root yourself in spirit above. So that replaces that, and that's why their grounding, the rooting is in their voice. Their voice is rooted into spirit. So everything that has been created here as an opportunity for women to be who they want now, and to be independent and free and live the life they want to, and balance their own masculine and feminine self. They have every right and opportunity to do so now. All they have to do is ask. If they're having problems, all they have to do is ask, and it'll be delivered. So they get all the help in the world. There's no reason why that can't happen now at this day and age.
Nice.
Now, this was the map where you asked, was there anything else that needed to be drawn? And you wound up drawing the red line.
Oh no, I did the red line first, and I added. I think that was the inside, the red line inside the pinkish line. So yeah,
Okay.
but I asked that with everyone. Is there anything else that I need to do? You know, and
Right.
yeah.
I thought there was another code coming.
Yeah.
Because the actual, you see where you got the dark red spots in the red line above, and then you got the one that's separate from the Ascension, the Ascension transformation that's rated in below.
Mm-hmm.
There's no code there, but I see now that the women's belief and their purpose here is crossing over and touching that, and it overlaps. Now, if that was by itself, then I would say that particular, because it's a color, that particular thing would need a code. Because when you break these down, look at the blue, that's 1. The upper red is 2. The lower red is 3. The flower is 4. The green foliage and the root base is 5. The brown down there is 6. Where's the other? You need one more. There's 7 chakras. So what happens is in here, that other red, because it's red, it's separate. That one is going to be separate by itself without a code, because they went ahead and blended in the center here. They blended the sacral in with the solar plex. They got the red and the yellow, so that the yellow flowers, the foliage in there, or the emergent expression, that is really 2. So you're seeing the red as 1, and then you'll see the yellow around it as another. So every time you look at a map, there's going to be 7 objects on there, or 7 colors. If there's 7 objects and only 5 colors, those 2 that are missing is where the issue is in that person's life.
So Dean, you was able to learn how to read these maps from like the QHHT sessions, like the hypnosis sessions? Like
through clients, yep.
Gotcha.
Clients and a very small amount from them. Probably the most from other energy workers to see what they feel. I'd ask about 15 different people. What does this mean to you? What does this mean to you? And then when 6 out of them 15 say the same thing, then that's what I go with, and the others I don't.
Gotcha.
And so I use that as the connection, and I have an index that I've been keeping, where when I use a certain light language artist and they have certain symbols that they use, then I'll just mark that down and keep a note of that one for their maps, because they'll follow through on their maps. They're pretty indicative, although they do change as the maps change. So then I'm like, 2 months later, I got nothing that is similar. I got to start all over again. But that's fine, because if I use a different artist and they have different symbols, it's interesting that the symbols and the geometrical biosignature to those symbols still perform the same kind of frequency correction and healing. But they look totally different. And I know this because some of these I looked at, and I'd get a certain shake or a shiver or a ring or a feeling. And then that would be done. And then I'll look over at this other one that meant the same thing by a whole different type of artist with a whole different signature to it. And the same thing would happen. Other one.
I also find something that's interesting on this map is that I see the logo on Living 5D, the pinwheel is on this one, and it was on another map. So I think that's interesting as well.
Yeah, right.
Oh, really? That's funny. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like a little pinwheel, like a little flower. Is my mouse over it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's right here. And of course, it's throughout this one, but on that other picture, it was on that other one.
Wow. I don't even know I'm doing that.
Right, and it's interesting because that was from a different artist, but that was also information that came through the divine about.
But you really see it on this one right here. You definitely.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I actually see that everywhere, JJ.
Yeah, because now you're looking for. I'm trying to find the picture that. It was this one, right here.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
That looks. I thought that was interesting.
And some of them will have 5, some will have 7, some will have 8. And like your last one that you did, Charmel, that you got coming up, that's got 8 on there, which means that this person is multidimensional. So that'll be expressed in there and throughout the map too, and it's going to have you'll see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 9. So that is but you are also multidimensional. You have the ability to get this coming through you. So you have an extra energy port also that allows you to channel and bring this information through. And the other artists they all have that too, that I see, which is and that's why I said what I did about this map, because what is so interesting about this is when you look at it, go back to the other one, JJ.
Oh, okay.
The mountain.
That one's mine. Yeah, that one's mine.
So this one's yours?
Yes, that's mine.
Oh, that's interesting.
It was mine after he sent me an audio, and that's what I came up with.
Oh, this is going to be interesting.
Go ahead, tell me.
How long was that audio?
The audio was really long, and I don't feel that I'm done. I think I really feel I have 2 more maps in me for the audio.
Okay. So, I started off with this certain amount of things that I wanted to accomplish for Charmel, and to help ease these ascension symptoms that she's going to be going through and that she's been going through while she's creating. So everyone's got authors got to realize that every time she creates a map, she's also getting the healing from that. So if it's going to knock the client out, it's also going to knock her out. So she's going to be sleeping a lot, and she'll be doing purging, and you can go days like that and not want to see or talk to nobody, but then all of a sudden when you come around again, it's a beautiful world. You can see through here how they have her voice is it covers the lands. It's the highest peaks. It's the most majestic in the land. And when you see this, you can see that she is really carrying quite a load, because she is dealing with everything that she has out here. You'll see the Tower of Love, the totem. That says love, and that's the symbol for that in that way. But those are also your chakras. And when you look at the sun at the mountain, typically when the sun's that low in the mountain, behind the mountain, it'd be getting dark. But you have the ability to, in your world, bring the sunshine down on the front side of the mountain, keeping the light on everybody, and making it a bright, beautiful place to be. And everyone else on this in your valley of life get to also enjoy the sunset on this side of the mountain. So you create all of that through this. And when you look at that, the flowers that you have there, those are all your energy ports, and those are your I believe that you're also 9th dimensional. I just didn't want to tell you that.
I think you told me that before.
Believe me. No. You're a 5. See ya.
So well, yeah, it's so funny because I've been a week down. I've been sick for a week, and I haven't been able to go anywhere. I actually had a friend take me to the store because I was out of things the other day, and thank God for him. Yeah, from what the funny thing about this, I feel like I'm trapped in this. And it's funny that you say about the sun, because I am actually in the process of writing a book, and part of it is shedding a light on some of the hidden things that have happened in my life that need to be stopped. And then the fence, I feel like it's part of it is I feel like I'm behind this fence, but all I have to do is walk around the edge and I'm free.
Exactly.
So
It doesn't block nothing in.
yes.
Absolutely. So when you look at your stars up there, and what that says here is the stars are your higher voice, which go up to spirit, and you got your other blue lines come down, so that you wrap your voice around everything. Everything that you wrap your voice around soars. You can go over any mountain, and you've done that in all aspects of your energy. And you can see that you got the 7 stars. Those are all your chakras, and they soared. So you have the ability to really manipulate energy. And this here says just have fun with it. I mean, have fun with it. You know, you're at peace with who you are, where you are, and everything that you've done. And you're connected to source. You spent one-on-one time with the divine. I can see that in the map here too. So yeah, there's a lot there.
What about on the right side where they got these codes underneath the sun? Is that?
I wanted that too, Jason.
Read your mind.
You can read my mind.
Now we know his talent, his secret power.
Yeah, I try to ask the questions that people would ask.
Yeah. Over here in there's a triangle up and a triangle down on the inside. I think there's another spot on the triangle. So that's about the body on top. So look, see the S. That's the symbol. Okay, that's your health symbol, your chakras. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. See, she's multidimensional. So she's got 2 higher energy ports there. And going at the back, the one is her heart. And the third one from the left, that one there is many. So I would say that's a symbol of rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the one before that is spirit, and the one before that is her, and or her people and the moon, and the one before that, the 3 lines going horizontal, that is also many. And the one before that is connect and or crown. It could be either one. So, and that's the one before that is that's her. Okay. So, and then what's that? Can you zoom in on the one before that?
Let me change screens.
And it's in silver too, since I have it in front of me.
Okay, in the third dimension, she connects many through the divine, and she brings many. She brings many to, I would say, the moon, or above the moon, or below. Next, she brings many that are under the moon to the to spirit, and connects them through the heart. So she's affecting people through her heart center, which is why that's the reason for her extra dimensional chakra, her higher heart, and which very well could be the progression of this light language map. So, and that's what's happening through this, is that she is doing this through her own heart right now. She's not being compensated for this. You know, this is all new and up and coming. I mean, there's little things here and there, but nothing for what I personally think she should be compensated for. This is just the goodness to her heart. And she's doing this to give all these people these healing, and to get things started and to figure more about this and see what it is. And see where it goes and how much is going to be accepted. Do people want it? I think they're gonna, based on the people that have seen use them already. They have really huge impacts, and they just continue to get better and better and better. So I think this is one of her ways that she is affecting large, super large groups of people. And that is, that was a plan. And that's why she is, when she does the map on herself, you see that she's way up there in dimensions. She's able to manage that energy. And there is a formula for that. And I think each time you go up from one dimension to another, it's 10 times, and 10 times up to 20. So if you're going to go from third to fourth dimension, it's 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. You do that 20 times. That'll be the energy difference. So when you do that all the way up to the ninth dimension, she's got more energy that she could produce in one thought than we got in half this universe. That's a lot of power, because if she opens those up and opens up those vortexes that go from one universe into the next to the next, from one dimension to the next to the next, she can really transfer a lot of energy through that and really manipulate it here and create major things. A really, really powerful person.
Thank you. But it just makes me happy to do them. That's the thing. It brings me joy. That's, you know.
It's why it works, because you're, same here. I don't get paid for this either, and it's just, we got to put it out there. And that's what I'm being kind of, the intuition that I get is that it needs to be displayed. It needs to be brought out. People need to see this. More information is going to come out about this. The maps are going to continue to evolve, and it's going to happen in stages. And that's what I've been told deliberately, is that it's going to happen in stages. And each time it happens, more and more are going to come forward, but not until they're needed.
I will have to say, when we did a channeling video with Tracie, it came down to what feeds your soul. So by you doing this, and if this is feeding your soul, then this is part of your work.
So, yeah, I'm going to agree. I have my dogs in the background being noisy, so I keep muting, and then I realize you guys can't hear me. So yeah. Good. But yes, I agree. It's when it feeds your soul, everything's amazing. So
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it shifts. Yeah, there's no doubt.
Well, before we wrap it up, because we're running out of time over here, but for the people that's going to be watching this video and everything, what is the process for them to get a map of their own? And I know when you did my map, it wasn't a long process. It was like 20 minutes. So
right.
What's the best way for someone to get in touch with you to get this map?
Well, I know you asked me on the last one. I didn't really want to go into that, and I just said that because there really wasn't a process yet. It was just something that it keeps happening, but there is a process to it.
Mm-hmm.
What it is that if you are going to have a session or you just want a map,
mm-hmm.
call up me, or I'll line it up where you can call somebody, or Tracie or whoever who's willing to do it. You just call them up and talk to them. And I have a set of questions that I ask. I want to know what your childhood was like. What, just briefly, quick, you and your family, your relatives, and then your friends. And then let's go to high school. What were your experiences in high school? You, your family, your friends. Anything in your family dynamic changed by then? And then how old were you when you left the house? What was your life like when you were finally on your own? And what are the things that happened? And what were your ideas and your goals? Did you stick with those? Did they happen? Are you still on course? Are you having a good time? Or are you having a hard time? And then the relationship. Did you move right in with a boyfriend or a girlfriend? Or were you on your own, single, independent, and then you meet somebody and then move in? And did you get married? Or did you get pregnant? Or did you have children? Divorce? I asked those quick questions. And then I try to make that as quick as I can. And then at the very end, it says, okay, now if you could change your life tomorrow, when you woke up tomorrow morning and your life is going to be different, you get to pick right now how you want that to be. How would you want it to be different from the way it is right now? And then I let them just tell me what's going on and all that. And then what will happen is I'll take that audio after the phone call. I'll take that audio and I'll send it to Charmel. She'll play the audio while she's listening to this, or while she's drawing. She'll play the audio while she's doing her art. And then everything that is going on in that session will start to come out. But there's already something altered that once it's been put down in here, it's like it's in the frequencies. And the longer she has of a frequency to validate what's going on in the person's energy field, the clearer the picture is going to be in the information for her to do the map. So if you just give her 30 minutes, the map takes 60, she's going to have to rely a half hour without doing much. And so I try to give her enough. Sometimes I think she'll listen to it 2 or 3 times. So she always has something going on in the background while she's doing the artwork, because it continues to flow and it's easier for her than having silence. So that's what we do. So then once she's done with doing the map, then she'll take a picture of it and she'll send me it on my phone. And then I'll either go print it out for somebody. It's $10 they pay. And it's right now, I'm sending Charmel $35 for the map. So they're at $45 if I print it out. And if it's $35, if I just send the client or that person on their phone the picture of the map, they can go to any kiosk at Walgreens and print out. I usually get the 11 by 14 glossy. Then that way, when you're done, because the codes are bigger, you can see the fine prints in there, because every dot and every line means something in these maps. On JJ, on your map, we thought these were just little decorative lines that going on that scale going up at the back on that dolphin. And each one of those were the directions on how you're going to get to your ascension. And they were just little lines. So the bigger, the better.
Nice, interesting. I will have to say, printing out my map was a hassle. So I appreciate you printing out my map. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, no, and I'll do that. If someone's having an issue printing a map out, I'll go ahead and print it and mail it to them. It's not a problem. It's easy to do, especially when I'm already there doing several of them anyway. So like a lot of these I've already printed out and I just have there in a print. So eventually when I get to the customers, I'll give it to the customer. But I do, every time I bring a map to a session, I do have a printout. I bring it there and I give them that. Then they frame it. Yeah. So, and what we think we're going to do also is we're going to try to get these maps, some of these maps, certain ones, printed on T-shirts and shirts for people.
Oh, nice.
Interesting. All right. Yeah. And then after that, you just call up the client that had the map and you just go over the map real quick with them.
Yeah, I'll tell them what that map means, but and even if nobody did, it didn't matter because it's all geometry. All that specific person has to do is look at the map, and their eye pixels will go ahead and convert all the codes from the geometrical patterns and the frequencies that's picking up from here, and convert to an electrical frequency, and it puts them right in the DNA. The DNA starts healing the body from the inside out. No. And I think that we discussed this with many people, and I think that we came to the conclusion that within 2 years, the body's pretty much a new body on a cellular level. Mm-hmm. So within whatever's going on, the healing is going to be in the new cells. As you shed the old ones, the new ones that are produced are going to have the new frequency that produce those based on what the DNA tells it to produce. So all the new cells that are produced by the DNA will be the new healed, corrected cell that the original cells.
Okay. Interesting. I did not know that. So that brings up a good point. So is there anything else anybody else wants to add? Because we're running out of time, and I know someone has a meeting coming up.
Yeah, actually, two of us have a meeting coming
Oh,
up.
two of y'all have a meeting coming up. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's a lot of great information, a lot of powerful stuff, and interesting. And I even learned a few new things today. So that's
Thank you, Dean, for sharing your insights of the maps. And
oh, you're welcome. If anybody wants to, just get a hold of us on the website and just let us know you're interested. Or if you know that somebody wants one or you want to use it on a client that you're having a lot of problems with, just call us up and we'll do an audio, and I'll send that to Charmel. She'll do the map, and I'll send you the map. And right now, I could probably get that map back in 3 or 4 days.
And I might want to add, if you are a QHHT practitioner watching this and you're interested in adding this to your practice, also contact us about these Ascension sessions. They are powerful. Absolutely. And we'd love to talk to you about it. So
this would be a nice service for them to offer. Absolutely.
I agree. All right.
Well, thank you very much for everybody. Thank you, Dean, for sharing all this information and wisdom. Thank you, Charmel, for explaining. I wanted to know how this worked too, so I appreciate you joining us. And Tracie, thank you for everything as well.
Thank you, Jason, for setting it all up.
For anybody watching this video, I'm going to have links in the description so y'all can find the website easier, and any map that comes out in the future will be on the website as well. So, all right.
Very
cool.
Cool.
All right, bye-bye, everybody.
Take care.
Well, nice to see you again, Charmel and Tracie, JJ. You guys take care.
All right. You too. Yeah, do the same. Yeah, stay warm up there. Stay out the snow.
Right.
All right.
Snowmobile's going by right now.
Yeah.
All right, you guys.
All right, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.